Most people don't realize they're disappearing from their own lives. Not dramatically, not all at once, slowly, quietly, in small compromises. You stop saying what you actually think. You stop asking the questions you truly care about. You stop reaching out first. You scroll more than you speak. You work more than you feel. And one day, you look at your life and see activity everywhere, but meaning almost nowhere. You're not a bad person. You're not lazy. You're not even broken. You're just disconnected from yourself, from people, from life. Some call it burnout. Some call it numbness. Some call it nihilism. Whatever word you use, the experience is the same. I'm here, but I don't feel alive here. This video is not about becoming more likable in a shallow way. It's about understanding charisma as something much deeper, a way back into connection, a way back into power, a way back into yourself. Have you ever stood in a crowded room and felt completely invisible? You're surrounded by noise, but you feel like a ghost. You listen more than you speak. You nod more than you express. You say the right things, but not the real things. People would probably describe you as nice. They might even say reliable, chill, laid back. But inside, you know that's not the full story. There's a version of you that only appears when you're completely safe. With that one close friend, at 1 a.m., in a deep conversation. Laughing until you can't breathe, talking about ideas that make your whole body light up. That version of you, that's your real charisma. But most people never see it, because fear became the driver of your social life. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being too much, or not enough. So you made a trade. You gave up visibility for safety. You gave up presence for control. You gave up being fully alive for being acceptable. And the cost of that trade is enormous. Sometimes the crack appears in a single moment. You don't get the promotion, even though you did everything right. You lose someone you really liked to someone less qualified than you. Or you hit all the goals you thought would fix everything, the job, the body, the apartment, maybe even the money, and yet, the emptiness is still there. This is the moment when a lot of people slide into quiet nihilism. What's the point? None of this matters. Life is just random, but there's another option. Instead of collapsing into nothing matters, you can ask a different question. If the world is responding to something in me, what am I actually broadcasting? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. You are always communicating. Even when you say nothing, your body speaks, your posture speaks, your eyes speak, your speed speaks. And most people's bodies are broadcasting one message. I am not safe. I don't belong. Please don't hurt me. The world doesn't hate you. It just mirrors you. So to change the mirror, you don't need more effort. You need a different signal. The interview does not start when you sit in the chair. It starts in the lobby. With the security guard. With the receptionist. With the way you stand while you wait. The date doesn't start at the table. It starts as you enter the restaurant. How you walk. How you scan the room. How you hold your shoulders. The world forms an impression of you before you say your name. Not because people are shallow, because they are human. We evolved to read, is this person safe? Is this person stable? Is this person confident? Or dangerous? Or needy? Your nervous system enters the room before you do, and people feel it. In nature, there are two kinds of movement, prey and predator. Prey moves fast, prey twitches, prey scans constantly, just in case something goes wrong. Predators don't waste energy. They move slowly, smoothly. They look exactly where they want to look, when they want to look. Now think about how most shy people move in social situations, eyes darting, hands fidgeting, legs bouncing, head turning quickly. The brain thinks it's hiding anxiety, the body is shouting it. Fast movement says, I am not safe here. I'm bracing for impact. Slow, deliberate movement says, I'm okay. I can handle this. No animal in the wild watches a shaking, frantic creature and thinks, wow, I respect that. They think, that one's going to get eaten. The same instinct lives in human social perception. We might not be lions and gazelles anymore. But our nervous systems didn't get that memo. When you slow your movements, when you give your gestures time, when you turn your head fully instead of snapping your eyes around, you resending a different message. I am not hunted. I am not hiding. I belong here. And people feel that shift. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about not erasing yourself. A lot of socially anxious people literally try to take up less space. Shoulders collapsed in, elbows glued to their ribs. Feet close together, back against the wall. They don't want to bother anyone. But here's the psychological twist. When you shrink physically, you also shrink in other people's awareness. You become part of the background. Filling your space doesn't mean invading others. It means using the space that already belongs to you. Relax your shoulders. Let your arms move away from your body. Uncross your legs. Plant your feet firmly. You don't have to look like a movie hero. You just have to stop apologizing for existing. When your body says, "I have a right to be here," people feel strangely more comfortable around you. Why? Because you're not asking them to carry your insecurity anymore. Nihilism doesn't always look like deep philosophy. Sometimes it looks like a waiter who stopped caring whether anyone ever remembers him. A student who goes to class but stopped believing any of it matters. A worker who does the job mechanically, without spirit, without hope. You can tell yourself, nothing means anything, but your nervous system disagrees. Human beings are wired for connection. We only feel truly alive in relationship, with ourselves, with others, and with something bigger than just me today. When you cut off those threads, even slowly, life starts to taste like cardboard. One man once said, "I was sliding into nihilism. I thought nothing mattered. But when I started learning how to genuinely connect with people, something shifted. I felt less empty, less numb." Connection didn't magically fix his life, but it turned the color back on. Charisma isn't about shining for others. It's about returning to a world in which anything can matter again. Here's one of the simplest, most powerful tools you'll ever learn. 1. More sentence. You interact with dozens of people every day. The barista, your Uber driver, a classmate, a coworker, a neighbor in the elevator. Most of those interactions follow a script. How are you? Good, you fine. End of story. But what if you made it a rule that whenever you had the energy, you would add one more real sentence? Pretty busy, but I'm trying to actually enjoy my day. It's been a long week. What about you? I'm new to this building. Do you like living here? It doesn't always lead to a deep friendship. Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere. But here's why it matters. You are training yourself to cross the line from transaction to connection. You are teaching your nervous system, it's okay to reach out. I won't die if someone doesn't respond. I'm allowed to be real in public. And over time, you stop living in a world full of strangers and start living in a world full of possibilities. But let's be honest, there's someone watching this right now thinking, I get it intellectually. I know I should say one more sentence, but when the moment comes, I freeze. You stand in the elevator and you feel the urge to speak, but your throat closes. You see someone interesting and think of a question, but your feet don't move. You hear the advice, you believe it works, and yet you don't act. Does that mean you're weak? No, it means somewhere your nervous system learned that being seen equals being hurt. Maybe you were mocked when you opened up. Maybe someone you trusted used your vulnerability against you. Maybe you don't even remember when it started, but your body remembers. So step 1 isn't do the thing. Step 1 is acknowledging, I see you, fear. I understand why you're here, but we can't let you drive forever. Start small. You don't have to transform in a day. One more sentence at the supermarket. One compliment to someone who serves you. One honest answer when a friend asks how you're doing. You're not just practicing social skills. You're rewriting your story, from I am safer invisible to I am safer when I am real. In the first 60 seconds of meeting someone, their nervous system is asking 3 questions. 1. Can I relax with you? This is about fun. 2. Can I trust you? This is about safety. And 3. Can I respect you? This is about strength. If you're only fun, people might like you, but not take you seriously. If you're only strong, people might respect you, but feel distant. If you're only safe, people might confide in you, but never feel energized around you. True charisma is the combination of all 3. You don't need to be a clown, you just need to be more alive than just fine. You don't have to overshare your trauma, you just need to be honest. You don't need to dominate the room, you just need to stand your ground. Fun can be a small joke or a playful comment. Trust is looking people in the eye, and not trying to get something from them. Respect is not apologizing for existing, not backing down from your values, and not gossiping just to fit in. When you give people these 3 things quickly, you become the person everyone just likes, but can't always explain why. You know, most conversations drown in small talk because we answer big questions with dead answers. Where are you from? Here. Dead. What do you do? Accounting. Dead. How have you been? Busy. Dead. You're not boring. Your answers are. Try this. Instead of closing the topic, leave hooks. Where are you from? I grew up in a small town, but I've moved around a lot because I get restless if I stay in one place too long. Now they can ask, what small town? Where have you lived? Why do you get restless? You're giving them threads to pull. You're reverse engineering the conversation you want to have. If you care about art, mention it. If you love travel, leave that breadcrumb. If you're obsessed with building something in your life, hint at it. Don't info dump your entire backstory. Just sprinkle clues. The right people will notice and follow. Everyone is waiting for permission to be human, to laugh, to be honest, to say something real. Most rooms are full of people pretending to be serious, to be fine, to be appropriate. Leadership in social life often looks like this. You go first. You crack the first joke. You admit the first honest thing. You offer the first compliment. You flirt with the world, not in a romantic way but in a playful, curious way. When the barista says, name, you can say your name, sure, or you can say, name. Depends who's asking. And then smile. When someone asks, busy day, you can say, oh yeah, or you can say, busy brain, at least. I'm trying to keep up. These moments don't always land perfectly, but even when they slightly miss, something important happens. You are practicing being alive in public. You are practicing showing flavor, and people are starving for that. When you see someone you admire, it's easy to put them on a pedestal. Boss, influencer, investor, celebrity, beautiful person. Your brain whispers, they're above me. And the moment you believe that, you stop being real. You either perform or you shrink, but here's what experience teaches over and over. There are no superiors. Just people with different roles, different problems, and different levels of power in specific areas. Powerful people are not gods. Often they're more insecure than you realize, more lonely than you think, more human than you expect. This is not about disrespect. It's about correct perspective. Your job is not to impress them. Your job is to stand as an equal human being, curious, grounded, honest. Charisma is not worship. It's eye level. Reputation is what people think you are. Character is what you are when no one's watching, or when everyone is. We live in a time obsessed with image, likes, comments, public perception. It's easy to build your life around optics. Say the right things. Avoid being cancelled. Look socially perfect. But here's the paradox. The more you chase a flawless reputation, the less people actually trust you. Because real humans are not flawless. Real humans have edges, limits, lines. When you care more about your character than your reputation, you will sometimes say no when it's uncomfortable. Disagree with the popular opinion. Refuse opportunities that look good but feel wrong. You may lose some short-term approval, but you gain something far more valuable, an inner solidity that people can feel. You speak with more conviction, because you know you mean what you say. Every time you lie, even a little. I'm 5 minutes away when you haven't left. I'm fine when you're not. I like this when you don't. You train a tiny fracture inside your integrity. You tell your nervous system, we can't fully trust ourselves. Then, when you need to speak with power, to negotiate, to ask for a raise, to set a boundary, to stand up for someone, a quiet voice inside says, are we telling the truth this time? Or is this just another performance? Your words lose weight. Honesty isn't just moral, it's practical. It gives your voice density. When people feel that you are not manipulating them, not hiding something big, not constantly bending for approval, they relax. Sometimes they won't like what you say, but they'll know where you stand. And that is the foundation of sustainable influence. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Charisma is powerful, and power always attracts two kinds of people, those who want to grow with you, and those who want to use you. When you develop social skill, when you start attracting attention, when you gain some money or status, you will sometimes meet people who don't actually care about you. They care about access to your audience, to your resources, to your influence, to your image. They will flatter you, protect you from criticism, and tell you what you want to hear. They may even position themselves as your right hand, your only truth teller, your most loyal supporter. But behind your back, they might be filtering information, turning others against you, and making themselves the gatekeeper between you and your own world. One of the most painful lessons in any journey is this: not everyone who is on your side is on your side for the right reasons. Charisma without discernment is dangerous. So how do you protect yourself? Here's a simple rule: never let a single person be your only lens on reality. If all your information about your friends, your team, or your community comes through one person, you've given them enormous power. They can frame every story, steer every decision, and quietly isolate you. Instead, talk directly to people. Ask how they're doing, check in yourself, verify, not because you're paranoid, but because you're responsible. Great leaders don't outsource their relationships. They listen widely, and they decide. Charisma shouldn't make you blind. It should make you more awake. Of course, charisma isn't always used for good. History is full of people who spoke with incredible conviction and led others into destruction. Crowds often follow not the most honest or competent person, but the one who radiates unbreakable belief. Psychologically, we're drawn to those whose inner state seems certain. It feels safe to outsource our doubt to someone who appears to have none. That's why some leaders can survive scandals, contradictions, even open hypocrisy. Their followers are addicted to the feeling of certainty. You can't control how others use charisma, but you can decide how you will. Will you use it to dominate and manipulate? Or will you use it to tell the truth more effectively, to stand up for people, to build things that actually help? Charisma is leverage. What you leverage it for is your responsibility. And remember, there isn't just one kind of charisma. You don't have to be the loud, extroverted, center of attention person. There are many flavors. There's conviction charisma, where someone believes so deeply that you're pulled into their certainty. There's authentic charisma, the person so unfiltered and real you can trust them with anything. There's humorous charisma, the one who turns tension into laughter. There's empathic charisma, the person who listens so deeply you feel truly seen. There's energetic charisma, whose enthusiasm is contagious. And finally, integrity charisma, the person whose actions line up with their words over time. You don't need all six. You just need to know your natural strength and develop it. Charisma isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more fully and courageously yourself. So let's get practical. You're in a job interview. Most candidates walk in thinking, I hope they like me. Their energy is focused on surviving. You can do something different. At the end of the interview, when they ask if you have any questions, don't just say no. Ask this instead: if we fast forward 1 year, and you're really happy you hired me, what would I have done in that year to make you feel that way? Then, be quiet. Let them think. They'll tell you exactly what they care about, the problems they want solved, the qualities they value. In that moment, you've shown long-term thinking, you've made them imagine you succeeding, and you've gotten a blueprint for how to win. Then your job is simple: follow the blueprint. Most people build their careers like startups, as something to sell. Work like crazy, prove your value, cash out, and then escape. But what if you flip that question? Instead of asking, how do I get enough to finally leave this life? What if you asked, how do I build a life I wouldn't sell, even for $1 billion? A life where you actually like the person you are when you work, where you respect the people you work with and aren't constantly betraying your values for short-term wins. Yes, you'll still need to make money. And yes, there will still be stress, sacrifice, and hard days. But the scale of your decisions changes. You stop agreeing to every shiny opportunity. You stop bending your boundaries just for good exposure. You say no to things that will drain your soul, even if they pay well. Charisma in this context means you're not just trying to look successful. You're trying to feel aligned. To walk into your own life and think, this is mine, I chose this. And I can live here for a long, long time. In a world obsessed with optics, you'll often feel pressure to do things just because it looks good. Say something not because you believe it, but because people expect it. Add someone to your project not because they're the best fit, but because it checks a box. Announce things you haven't actually done yet. Sometimes that pressure even sounds moral. People will judge us if we don't. We need to protect our image. This is just how it's done. Charisma with integrity says, we will do what is right, and then we'll explain why. Not, we will do what looks right, even if it's empty. Yes, think about how things appear. We don't live in a vacuum, but never let optics lead your life. Let truth lead, then let optics catch up. Charisma in relationships isn't about tricks. It's about standards. If your only standard is, they like me, and they're attractive, you will tolerate almost anything. Last-minute cancellations. Disrespect of your time, constant maybe energy. You don't have to become rigid or cold, but you do have to notice, is this person showing up with respect? If someone repeatedly treats you like an option, your charisma is not proven by how much disrespect you can swallow. It's proven by your ability to calmly say, this doesn't work for me, because the moment you start valuing your own time, energy, and heart, you send a new signal. I am not begging for attention. I am inviting mutual respect, and that changes everything. Let's zoom out. We've talked about body language, social habits, work, power, relationships, and boundaries, but under all of it, there's one core question. Are you willing to come back to yourself? Because real charisma is not a collection of gestures or a set of clever lines. It's not a performance. Charisma is what happens when you stop abandoning yourself in social situations, when you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, when you stop performing to avoid disapproval, when you stop lying to protect an image. Instead, you show up with your full presence. You let your real opinions exist. You allow your humor, your seriousness, your weirdness. You speak honestly, even when your voice shakes. You won't be everyone's favorite, but you will be someone's irreplaceable person, including your own. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not destined to be invisible. You learn to hide. You learn to disconnect. You learn to survive, but now you can learn something else. How to move slower. How to fill your space. How to say one more real sentence. How to be fun, safe, and solid. How to protect your heart without closing it. How to build a life you wouldn't sell. How to return to yourself, and let the world finally meet you. Not the mask, you. And when that happens, it won't just change how people see you. It will change how you see life itself. Because connection is not a luxury. It's what you were made for. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.